Hey, what's up everyone? Persnickety here, and welcome back to Uncharted Drake's Fortune. We're moving on to Chapter 8, The Drowned City, and this is brutal difficulty, and you gotta be ready, because this chapter is going to throw you right into the heat of the battle. You'll notice the video cut there. That's because I died at this point, and luckily, since it's the very start of the level, you don't have to do any backtracking or anything like that. But you're going to want to make it up to this pillar as quickly as possible, and that's because there are enemies that are behind you shooting at you, but they're way up on a cliff. So once you make it into here, you should be able to forget about their fire. But while you're still out, like, sitting in the water, that's when they can hit you. So you just want to try to swim to this area as quickly as you can. Now, once you get here, there's going to be a handful of enemies to take care of, kind of a wide array. There's going to be a couple shotgun guys, some pistol guys, and then some assault rifle guys. So again, just kind of utilize the alternative cover. You'll see here that once I cleared out the first wave, that's when the second wave started to climb over that wall. And that second wave consists of 3 guys, and you'll see that on the right here, there's the heavy hitter who's carrying a Magnum 44. So you usually want to try to get rid of them as quickly as possible. You see there, maybe he wasn't carrying a Magnum, he was carrying a shotgun. The point is he's carrying a strong weapon, and that's the weapon that can do the most damage to you, so you just want to try to take him out as quickly as you can. Now, once you think that there's no one left, just be extra careful because this area is not particularly hard, but there are kind of a lot of guys, so you don't want to have to do the whole thing over again. But once you deem that the area is clear, run around, scavenge. There's some grenades you can pick up. There's a lot of ammo to be found, and then of course with the 2 powerful enemies, that means there's powerful weapons you can pick up once you kill everyone. And then go ahead and run over here to meet Elena, trigger a short cutscene, and we'll move on with the rest of the chapter.
This was a big mistake.
No kidding. You know, I should have turned before the bridge.
That's very funny.
Oh, come here a minute. I want to show you something.
That thing still works?
Uh-huh. Check this out. Okay, see this building in the harbor? That's where all the boats coming into the colony would have unloaded their cargo. So if the El Dorado treasure came to this island, it would have had to have come through here.
Wait a minute, what was that?
What?
Rewind it.
Yeah?
Wait, stop.
Uh-huh.
Right there. That's our ticket out of here. Come on.
Our ticket out of here? Are you giving up?
Maybe you hadn't noticed, but we're kind of outnumbered.
We're doing fine so far. Oh, no.
Elena, I don't need your bullet-riddled corpse on my conscience. Let's go.
Oh, please. You quit if you want to, but don't use me as an excuse.
Fine. It's me, okay? I am quitting. Are you coming or not?
So that's it. You're just gonna forget about the treasure and forget about Drake?
God damn it, this is not worth dying over.
Okay. Okay. Listen, either way, we have to head back to the harbor. Don't worry about it. We can argue about it later. It'll be great.
Wait. This time, I drive.
Okay.
Alright, so once you gain back control of Drake, we're going to hop on this jet ski here. I think this is the first part of the game where we use the jet ski. And it's pretty simple. It can be very hard if you want to make it hard on yourself, but if you want to take it slow and steady, this section can actually be really simple. So, kind of people's first instinct, myself included, is when you get on the jet ski, you just want to go for it. You just want to rev the engine and ride as fast as you can. On Brutal, that approach is not going to work very well because you see all these like windows and doorways and arches and bridges. There's going to be enemies on all of those, and so what you have to do is kind of creep your way up very slowly. You'll notice here how I creep up to the wall. I don't go straight through the doorway. I creep up to the wall, and then I peek through to see if I can spot any enemies. If you don't see any enemies, then you're fine, but basically you'll notice how I jump straight from cover to cover. And then what you do is once you get to a piece of cover, you aim your weapon. Make sure you're aiming over whatever shoulder is better for that situation. So for example, here I'm on the right side of the wall, so I'm aiming over my right shoulder. And just do that, you know, and just keep a sharp eye out for enemies. it's nothing that's too difficult. The problem here is that it's just kind of a very slow and steady procedure. Because if you just rush out, they're going to kill you. On Brutal, they just kill you too quickly for that to be an effective method. So basically, I think if you just watch the gameplay, you'll kind of get the gist of it. Transfer from cover to cover, look for enemies, and then aim over the appropriate shoulder to take them out with a grenade launcher. And you'll notice here it's really cool because, like, if you watch the actual grenade firing from my weapon, a lot of times it actually fires through the wall. But because your crosshairs will be on an enemy, the game doesn't register that, and it will actually go through the wall and kill the enemy for you as if the wall weren't there at all. But yeah, so this is Chapter 8, and Chapter 8 is going to be relatively short. And in my opinion, this is where things start to get really easy. So in my opinion, you know, Chapters 1 through 3 were a piece of cake. There wasn't a lot of combat going on. Chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7, those were all pretty combat heavy. Those were some tough chapters. But now, I think the game gets easier. And it seems weird because, as you know, you end up fighting a different group of soldiers, and you think that with the more powerful weapons things get harder, but I really don't think that's the case. You're going to see here that in the next couple of days, like chapters 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all really short, simple to get through chapters. 13 can be a little tough, but then from there it's like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Those are all not that bad. 20 is probably the worst one, and then 21 and 22 are a piece of cake. Now again, a lot of that simplicity comes from having experience with the game. If this is like your first time playing the game and you're trying to play it on Brutal, well then no, this is going to be the worst piece of hell you can imagine. But if you played the game numerous times, which, you know, technically you have to do to unlock Brutal mode, you should be well off once you get to this point here, Chapter 8. Now of course that's not to say that the game is just a walk in the park. Each level has, you know, some sections that could be difficult, and you know that's what the walkthrough's for, to kind of show you what the tricky sections are and what are the best ways to get around them or get through them. But for the most part, that's it. You're going to find that most of these levels are pretty simple run-throughs with one or two tricky sections. And I think, for example, I can't remember if it's in this chapter or the next chapter, there's one gun encounter in particular that can be really challenging. And that's kind of the tone for the whole game. So just kind of zip through the levels, but once in a while you're going to get a tricky section. And like I said, that's kind of what the walkthrough, that's what I'm aiming for with this walkthrough, is to show you the easiest ways around these things based on my playthroughs. So cross the water there and you'll get a little more backstory about the colony vanishing and Elena getting a bit superstitious and things like that. But yeah, you're going to make your way, you're going to leave Elena here for now, and you're going to make your way across this small bridge, and you're going to see that there's already some enemies shooting at us from the other end. Take them out, same strategy as usual, nothing too difficult going on here. Just use alternative cover as opposed to regular cover, and you should be fine. Now, for those of you who are curious, I have a kind of layout, like a plan for the Uncharted franchise. Basically, my goal is, so I like to make walkthroughs with commentary. I tried making no commentary walkthroughs, but it just wasn't fun for me. So I like to make walkthroughs with commentary, and my goal is to get the entire Uncharted franchise on my channel on the hardest difficulties with commentary on every walkthrough. So I'm starting from the beginning with Uncharted 1. I actually already have Uncharted 2 on my channel, but that's a no commentary walkthrough, so what I'm going to do is just go over each of those videos and add commentary, and then we'll move on to Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4, which is not on Brutal, it's actually on Crushing, and then by the time I'm done with all that, or maybe even somewhere in the middle, Uncharted Lost Legacy should be coming out, and that's going to be kind of the Uncharted 4 spin-off. To my understanding right now, it's not a full-length game, but it's also not just a 10-minute DLC. So I'm not really sure what to expect. Maybe it's somewhere along the lines of like Left Behind from The Last of Us, but I can't even remember the length of that. From what I remember, it seemed like it was kind of long, but not too long. So yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna be. If I had to guess, I'd say they're probably shooting for somewhere around like 3 to 4 hours. But the cool thing is you get to play as Chloe. You get to play as Chloe, and you're teamed up with Nadine Ross. Now, Nadine is, for those of you who don't know, Nadine is the seemingly she's who. Okay, how do I word this? Nadine is who Uncharted 4 wants you to think is the antagonist, but then the antagonist actually turns out to be someone else. Nadine, for me, wasn't that cool of a character, simply because I felt like we didn't get to know her enough. She just felt like she was there. Like, she didn't feel like she served any real purpose. So unfortunately for me, Nadine was not a very fleshed out character, and I'm thinking that this Lost Legacy will do her more of a justice. But the real reason I'm excited is because you get to play as Chloe Frazer. So for those of you who are fans of the franchise, Chloe Frazer, and just so you know, this is what I like to do with my commentary. Like right here, there's nothing too difficult going on, just some combat. So this is where I like to kind of talk about the game in general and the franchise and different pieces of trivia and knowledge and things like that. So for those of you who don't know, Chloe is a character that was introduced in Uncharted 2 as one of Drake's old and current love interests. She's from Australia, and she's also kind of a rogue treasure hunter. But she's also the best getaway driver in the league, and that's what makes them such a good team. Is, you know, Drake and his buddies will steal the treasure, and Chloe will help out and help them get away. That's her kind of go-to, is the getaway driver. But so Chloe was in Uncharted 2. She was a large character in Uncharted 2. And she was just a fantastic character. Like, they did such a good job at dishing her out. And so then what ended up happening was she popped in for Uncharted 3. But unfortunately, halfway through Uncharted 3, she went off on her own thing. She basically backed out of the hunt. And so I was expecting her to pop up in Uncharted 4 because I felt like fans really wanted more of her from Uncharted 3, and because we didn't get that, I felt like they were going to give us more Chloe, but they ended up not doing that, and so I was sure that they were going to, or I think I'm just repeating myself, but I thought they were going to pop her into Uncharted 4, but they never did. At the very least, all they did was give us a small Charlie Cutter reference, who's another character who was introduced in Uncharted 3. But, so Chloe has been just out of the picture mostly since Uncharted 2, but, you know, technically from halfway through Uncharted 3. And so I think this is going to be a really cool chance to see more of Chloe, but this time we're going to be playing as her. And I'm kind of curious to see, like, is it basically going to be the same game, but just with a Chloe model over the original Drake model? Or is the game going to, you know, is she going to have some sort of different mechanics, or things like that. So that's what I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping it will also kind of flesh out her backstory, because we know what she does, but we don't know what she has done in the past, and like where she's from in her childhood and everything like that. So I just think all of that will make for a really great story. Really excited for it, and you can expect it, you know, to come up on my channel as soon as it comes out on the hardest difficulty, and I'm really excited for that. Now, we're pretty much to the end of Chapter 8 here. What you're going to do is jump over to this ledge. There's going to be one enemy opposite of you, so in between his shots, just simply pop up, cap him once or twice, and you're done. Now you're going to jump up here. You'll notice a small cut in the video. That's because I died from the climbing. But transition over here, turn the wheel, and you'll automatically get rushed into Chapter 9. So thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you get the chance, and I'll see you in the next video.